Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. If you're joining me on Facebook, I appreciate it. Continue to follow the page and all of the patronage that goes with it. It's interesting, right? I was thinking about this. There doesn't seem to be enough former players who populate the evaluation of athletics. When I look around and I go to these combines and I go to these, I see a lot of guys who don't look like they used to play sports. And I don't think you necessarily have to, ascend to the highest level of a sport in order to be able to evaluate it. I'm not even saying you have to have played in order to be a good evaluator. I'm saying that it's a lot more likely that in any business that you have, that the people who are able to identify talent best within that business are people who have done the business, people who have been intimately involved in the business. Salesmen usually know how to spot other good salesmen. They look for qualities they see in themselves. They look for qualities they wish they had. Why is it if people on the inside, people who know, if they were not so important, if they were not so valuable, then why is it that usually you get someone on the inside mentoring someone new into the space? You know how in journalism, great writers usually can spot other great writers? People who know how to weave a story, they usually can find others who know how to weave a story. So I don't want people to just think I'm on if you didn't play the game, then you shouldn't coach it or you shouldn't evaluate. No. That's not what I'm talking about. It's much deeper than that. It's deeper than rap. Because real ones know. In all walks of life, real ones know. Real thugs know what a real thug look like. Guys who fight, who like to fight, they can easily identify other guys who like to fight. People who work in prostitution, I'm pretty sure they are really good at identifying other people who work in prostitution. In all walks of life, business, personal, people who have the traits are able to identify other people who have those same traits. I wonder why more coaches and evaluators, GMs, don't reach out. I wonder why they don't reach out to their players. Go to, like for instance, if you're thinking about drafting a quarterback, why would you not reach out to some of the best quarterbacks in the business and say, hey, what do you think about this prospect? What harm would that do, right? See, one of the redeeming qualities about Dan Orlovsky, when he's not like trolling, when he's not doing that thing where he supports like guys who haven't been good, he's just doing it because he wants to be a contrarian, and that's what sells on ESPN. But when he's giving legitimate evaluations, I tend to listen to him a lot closer. I tend to pay attention to what he's saying because he's played the game at a high level. It doesn't matter whether I think he was good, he was not. Doesn't matter whether I think that he could have been it. That no, he played the game at a high level, so I know he knows what it looks like. Either because it's in him or because he wishes he had it. It's some of the same way that I'm usually pretty dead on when it comes to tight ends and receivers. I know my good friends Teron Davenport, Brandon Howard. You could set your evaluation to their evaluations when it comes to receivers. Emory Hunt, when it comes to running back play, they just know what they're talking about. Chris James, when it comes to receivers, their defensive backs. There's just certain people, because they've been in that space, because they know what it looks like. Warren Sapp, when you're talking about a defensive lineman, you want to know if a defensive lineman is going to be good. Ask Warren Sapp. If he's seen them play, he's going to tell you whether they're good or not, and most likely he's right. That's how simple it is. Somehow we've turned it into this crazy formula where people are prognosticating Aiden Hutchinson to be the next J.J. Watt. And the only thing that Aiden Hutchinson, and J.J. Watt have in common is that they're white. Now, if we were to give a real legitimate evaluation and we were to look at an Aiden Hutchinson with clear eyes and put him up against the other guys, you can't honestly tell me you're picking him first. If you just ask a bunch of defensive ends which defensive ends they are excited about, I guarantee you 2 names are going to come off their lips. It's going to be Kayvon Thibodeau because he's otherworldly athletic, regardless of what his combine numbers say. Just watch the film, and they're going to say Walker from Georgia because he was asked to do something at Georgia that a lot of defensive ends in college don't like to do, and that is take on blocks. So we haven't even scratched the surface of what he has to do what he can do when he's able to play like a legitimate 5 technique on a regular basis, or a 7 technique when he has to worry. All he has to worry about is getting blocked by a tight end or going one-on-one with an offensive tackle. Like, that changes so much. But I guarantee you those 2 names will pop off the tongue of most defensive linemen who play the game. Go and look at your own profession. When you're at work, who's the people that you talk about the most who don't do anything? It's because you don't see the qualities in them that make them an elite level in whatever it is you're doing. As a coach, as a writer, I do the same things. When I meet coaches, guys who want to be in this business, when I see youth league coaches, when I see high school coaches, when I see low-level college coaches, I can tell you immediately the guys who are going to be fast risers and the guys who are going to be, You know what? Let me rewind that. I probably said it wrong. I can tell you the guys who are going to be really good as coaches versus the guys who are just going to be a dude. Because fast rising in the coaching ranks and in journalism no longer have to do with talent. It just has to do with what you know and who you know. I mean, with who you know. Not talent, not ability, not what you know. But I can tell you the guys who are going to be really good versus the guys who are just going to be a dude. Like, that's not difficult to figure out. And the reason that it's not difficult to figure out is because everywhere we go, we're submerged. Everywhere we go, we are immersed in that culture. We're immersed in that world. And because we're immersed in that culture, because we're immersed in that world, There's never a time where we are not identifying the qualities and the characteristics that are associated with that world. It's that simple. Everybody gets the opportunity to evaluate, right? But real ones know. And unfortunately, what we have in sports a lot of time are people who have ascended to their position based off things other than their ability. And because of that, we get a lot of misses. We get people devaluing running backs because they don't understand how valuable a running back can be. We get people like think about this for a second. Think about how silly this is. The running back position has been devalued because people don't believe that running backs last long, right? But shouldn't that mean that getting a running back who's elite early is the way to go because you're not going to sign them to a second contract anyway? So why not take a Saquon Barkley with a top 5 pick and let him rock for his 5, 6, 7 years and then see you later, right? Why not take a Alvin Kamara early and let him rock for his 5 and 6 years and see you later? Like, why not take some of the elite levels, Dalvin Cooks? Like, why not take them early, pay them well in the time that they're actually the most valuable, which is from 20 to 27, according to anybody that you ask. And then once they've worked out that stream, sayonara, see you later. That seems to be a smarter logic than, hey, we're just not going to take running backs early. And so now what ends up happening is we have I've talked about it before, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We don't take running backs early. So then when we get a guy who should be a first rounder taken in the second or the third round, and we go, look, I told you, Alvin Kamara wasn't even a first round pick. Well, duh, bitch. You purposely didn't take him. But the qualities there for him to be good always existed. And if those qualities always exist, real ones know. The guys who do this, the guys who are about this life, trust me when I tell you, they know. You're not pulling the wool over their eyes. You're not fooling them. They get it. They know exactly the guys who they should be nervous about when they walk into the locker room, and they know the guys who don't cause them any kind of stress. You don't think that these guys do that? You don't think that these football players and basketball players and baseball players and hockey players and soccer players, you don't think they're, every time that you have a draft coming up, they're not looking around to see if there's a guy who they should be nervous about because that guy could take their job? Of course they are, because real ones know. And if you don't know, if you have to rely upon 8 billion different mechanisms to figure out whether or not somebody's good, if you can't watch them, if you can't look at them, if you can't see her, if you can't look and go, yep, she's one. Yep, she's that deal. Yep, he's that dude. Then you probably don't know. And if you don't know, then you should be reaching out to people who do. And that's why, smaller, lesser known people like myself and some others I know, every time we go and talk to people who have bigger platforms, who have bigger stages to be able to relay this message to the public. We hear them regurgitate the stuff that we said to them while standing next to them on the sidelines of combines and of camps and of whatever, pro days. There's been so many times where I've been talking to friends of mine who are well respected inside, but do not have the same level of platform that others, where they tell me, yo, I told such and such that when we were. There's been times where I've spoken to people about things where I've read it in their articles. It's because real ones know. Am I saying that I'm a real one? You damn right I am. Right? Real ones let you know. I'm not here for play. And it's okay. Like all of this thought process of, oh, you at all times, you gotta be humble. You gotta just let other people do the talking for you. You know how long it takes for people who are not real ones to recognize the real one? So sometimes you gotta beat your own chest. Sometimes you gotta be your own hype man. I don't find anything wrong with it. You know who else doesn't find anything wrong with it? Real ones. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. We will talk to you later. Peace.